Hello and welcome. You're listening to the QBQ podcast. Whether you're wondering how to get your business to the next level, increase sales and productivity, or how to raise great kids, you're in the right place. In every episode, we highlight how personal accountability is the foundation to success in all areas of life. Personal accountability. It's just as simple as that. Let's dive in now. Welcome to the QBQ podcast. This week, I'm so excited to have Thomas Murphy, my longtime client and friend, on the podcast with me today. Thomas is the VP of HR at Liberty Hospital. So welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's always fun to meet email people face to face.
Yes.
The beauty of Zoom. So we're just going to have a conversation today about your experience with QBQ. So why don't we start off? Could you describe how you first encountered QBQ?
It was probably 2010-ish. At that point in my career, I was still newish to leadership and was exploring ways to focus on growth and development. And I think at some point asked a friend or colleague, what are some book recommendations? And somebody recommended QBQ. And I think it was on you know how some offices have the library where you can take a book, borrow it, return it.
Yes.
And I picked it up from there. And I was like, oh, I could do this. It's a pretty easy read, short chapters. You had my attention. I started reading it and I did not stop reading it. I just read the book.
In one sitting.
And I think I did. And maybe it was over a couple of days, but it was pretty darn fast. And, you know, it's motivating to read that book because you finish a chapter in a couple of pages. And so it's like, oh, well, one more chapter. Oh, well, one more chapter.
Yeah.
That just started my journey on reading in general, but specifically with connecting to the QBQ. I have since read that book. I don't even know how many times. I would say at least once every couple of years, maybe more. I have it on Audible now too. Last week, I knew we were doing this podcast. I'm like, I'm going to make sure that I'm super familiar. And I didn't have time to sit down and hold the book. So I listened to it on Audible on my commute, which I can do in a day or two of commute. And John narrated it. So that's even better. You can hear his voice. That's how I discovered it. And it just has always stuck with me. And how we brought that to life here at Liberty really started about 5 years ago. I think we've been working together. And I had just been promoted into a role where leadership development and staff development fell under my purview here in human resources at the hospital. And we were doing some work on just development programming to begin with. And we had dismantled some things and we're starting to rebuild. And I was thinking about what is foundational, particularly our leadership team, what's foundational to their journey, their growth as leaders and the people who are leading our organization. I just knew that personal accountability is what spoke to me. I felt like it was the foundation for me, and I wanted to bring that to people. And I didn't know at the time that QBQ was a whole training platform. I knew it to be a book. And so I remember getting that book back out. I had copies in my office because I'd given it as gifts a couple of times over the years, and pulled that out. And I'm like, I bet they have a website. I'm going to go there, see if they have any materials. Maybe we'll build our own training program around QBQ. Well, lo and behold, QBQ is a training platform.
We did the work for you. Yeah.
It all just kind of started coming together. And on the website, there was a, click here to learn more. Clicked there. And I think within 15 minutes after I submitted that click here to learn more form where you fill out your name and who to contact, I think within 15 minutes, John was emailing me back.
Oh,
hey,
I'm sure.
John Miller here. And then I was starstruck a little bit because he's famous to me. He's
Absolutely.
like an idol, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We got to connect and he helped us bring the training program here to Liberty.
That's so fantastic. What did you think of the fact that there was an entire training program? Was it what you would have built yourself? Was it more? Was it less?
I think it hit the mark, really. What I would have built was around like framing a QBQ. What's it all about? How do you make that work in your day-to-day life? And that is what the training program delivers. And it delivers it directly from you and John. It's straight from the source. And sure, we have facilitators in our organization that actually facilitate the content, but we get to hear from both of you. All of our leaders get to hear from both of you and hear what that means to you and how they can make that happen for them.
Mm.
I can't imagine that I would have been thinking of anything different than just exactly what that was.
That's awesome. I'm glad you found it, and I'm so grateful anytime someone chooses to implement it and continue to use it in such a way as you have. So good job for that.
Yeah,
You always have such
we've
great, thoughtful comments about it too. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, that was about 5 years ago. I brought our CEO in, he talked with John, and we were both like, okay, this is good. And I think I had given the book to our CEO. He had read it before, and he's like, let me catch up.
Okay.
And so we came together to talk with John, and he told us about what the options were. That's the other thing I really liked about the training program. I forgot to mention is the flexibility of it, because I
Mm,
remember John saying, we'll come out, we can do this, we can come and do keynotes. What do you need?
yeah.
Or here's the materials. And if you want to bring this to life in your organization with some trusted facilitators, you can do that too.
There you go.
We really liked that flexibility. And my CEO at the time and I decided we really wanted to pilot that to see, okay, we're connecting with it. I knew I would connect with it, obviously. He's feeling connected to it. And we wanted to see how can we pilot this. We brought the whole senior leadership team together to
Mm,
go through that program, and they all connected with it. So then we felt really empowered to say, okay, we're all on board.
sure.
We can own this message and live it out, and we want to share that message with our leadership teams as well. And so then we brought all of our leaders, not just the senior leaders, vice presidents, and we brought directors and managers and supervisors all through it. Did that over the course of a couple of months. And then since then, we've kept that alive by bringing all incoming leaders. So if we promote somebody into leadership or if we hire somebody into a leadership role, we offer that program 2 or 3 times a year, and they get to go through the same class that all of our leaders did at that onset. So that way it stays part of our leadership culture, I'd say.
Just that consistency of message too, especially that is the beauty of a video-based training program is you're getting the
Yeah.
consistent teaching no matter how many months go by between those cohorts. You know that each employee is hearing the same message.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes a live facilitator or speaker might mix it up a little bit. That's the beauty of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
video training. So yeah, you rolled
absolutely.
that out really well. That's great. What positive outcomes have you seen? Can you attribute anything to the QBQ training?
Most of where I see it and it's fun to watch it happen is just my team and the people that I interact with on a daily basis. When you just see that shift in mindset. I facilitated the program for a while at the beginning, and then I had some people on my team. They're like, "This is good stuff. Can I jump in? Can I
Oh,
facilitate?"
I love that.
And so that's cool that they want to get involved. And then just watching that mindset of the shift from a blame or victim thinking to, oh, what can I do? What do I need to do differently? I want to talk about what my next steps are. Let's talk about that. I can't think of a time on my team in recent years where an approach to a problem has been, why is this happening? When is so and so going to do this? Why can't we get what we need? It's always, I want to talk about what I'm doing and what I could be doing next. Here's what I'm thinking. Or do you think that makes sense? Let me pick your brain on this because this is where I think I need to go. What could I do differently? And it's just really inspiring to see them think that way.
Mhm.
It's just so much better for the work that we do. We don't have time for victim thinking and blaming others. We have a lot of work to do. It's really important work. And so, how do we keep things moving forward? Well, we keep it moving forward by being accountable and asking those great QBQ questions.
That's a fantastic way of putting it. I really appreciate how you just said that because we all, in our own places, have important work to do. We're all impacting lives in different
Yeah.
ways. And when we, like you said, waste time victim thinking and blaming, it just defeats morale and it
Yeah,
breaks down teamwork. It's really difficult to get the job done.
absolutely.
Where do you see accountability being so important in the work specific to the environment that you and your team are in?
We work in HR that takes care of the people that take care of people. There's probably a lot that could be said about that. I'll also say that our hospital, Liberty Hospital, is becoming part of a larger health system. And that's a really exciting time and also a time of great change.
Mm,
And so through that change, I think just being able to move smoothly and freely through that change and not getting stuck behind the hurdles and the, oh gosh, this could be different and that's scary. I would attribute personal accountability to how smoothly we're able to move through that.
Oh,
And
that's
there's a lot
fantastic.
more to it as well. Our CEO is amazing about just really clear, thorough, transparent communication. We're keeping everybody informed every step of the way, and that helps a ton.
That
Um,
eliminates people's innate desire to say, why won't they tell us what's going on?
yes,
When are they going
yes,
to clarify the next steps? Why are
exactly.
we going through all this?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
good.
Yeah. Why are we going through all this change? I don't think that comes up in our organization
Mm.
because we're keeping everybody in the loop and we're keeping everybody informed. And it's just a much more empowering way to move through a change like this.
Oh, that's great. I have always said that QBQ is a powerful change management tool. And I wholeheartedly believe that because anytime I go through change, I find myself wanting to fight it because I'd rather
Yeah.
things just stayed the same
Yeah.
if it's working. But it's always better when I can turn those QBQs on and say, okay, change is
Hmm.
coming. I can't avoid it. So
Right.
why would I waste my energy fighting it? How about I
Exactly.
use a QBQ and say, what can I do to adapt? How can I learn from this?
Hmm.
What can I do to move forward? How can I better understand why these changes are happening? There's always a better way to respond in the face of that change. And it sounds like your team has figured that out.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's so
And
great.
much change they are going through, and they're troopers about it every step of the way.
As a leader, how has QBQ shifted your approach as you manage people? Has that changed your coaching of people, your guiding people toward growth?
That's a good question. There are a couple of different sections of the book that really stand out. One of them is I Can Only Change Me.
Mm.
And I just remember that being the first one that I submitted to memory. Like, that's the chapter that I
Get
remembered
that in
first.
there.
I think I was stuck in that mentality of how do I get people on board? How do I make people want to do the work that we need them to do? And that I Can Only Change Me mindset really helped me frame the way I approach that, and everybody has a choice and their choices are not mine to make. And the sooner I can embrace that and help them and then work on kind of motivational skills and skills of influence, I think that really shifted my ability as opposed to getting stuck in how I make people see it the way I want them to see it
Hmm.
to how do we get on the same page? I think that really helped. The other thing that concept or chapter really helped me with is earlier in my HR career, seeing other managers fall into that trap too, especially new leaders, and being able to sit with them and say, okay, let's take a step back when they're getting frustrated or concerned because somebody can't come to work on time. And that's really frustrating. What do I got to do to get them to be here on time?
Yeah.
And helping them shift the mindset from how do we make somebody do something to how do we make sure the expectations are really clear,
There you go.
let them make their choice around that, and
Yeah.
be prepared no matter what their choice is.
That's so great. What I hear you saying is QBQ is a good foundation because it helped you improve your mindset toward personal growth. How can I improve my motivational skills, my teaching skills
Mm-hmm.
to guide people along the path that I think is best?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Did you find any resistance from people as you've tried to guide them along the path toward accountability?
You know, not to zero in on I Can Only Change Me, but I do remember early rounds of facilitation of the training program. I remember that being a concept that would cause this look like,
Hmm.
from some people. They're like, really? And then others would be like, yeah. And most of them would just be kind of thinking.
Huh.
And so I think that's a concept that maybe it takes a minute to really understand and embrace. Really, I can only change me. I changed so and so's minds last week. Fundamentally, you can't change the other person. You have to meet them where they're at. And all you can do is influence. You can't change them.
Hmm.
And so I think that was one. But the other one is, and John talks about this in the book too, stress is a choice,
Hmm.
being a bit of a controversial
Yes, we
statement.
get
Stress is a choice. Yeah.
people like to debate that one. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Where do
Oh,
you fall? Where do you fall on the stress is a choice?
I'm a firm believer in stress is a choice,
Okay.
and I fall victim to it all the time. You
Yes.
know, it's one of those things. Oh, I'm so stressed. I'm like, wait, only I can control that. And
Yep.
it is my choice, and I have
Yep.
to work through that. Yep.
Yep. Bad things, tough things, difficult things can happen to us, and we are in the midst of it. But I get to control my response to it and how I handle it.
I think of my young self when I was new to the QBQ compared to today. It's funny to think about concepts like that, stress as a choice. And I just think about like how much better it probably would have felt in those years if I had the same like understanding of myself. If I'm having a stressful day, I don't get consumed in the stress as much. I can wrap my head around, okay, I'm stressed. What are my strategies for working through that?
Oh,
Listen
yeah.
to a good podcast or some good music on the way home, or take a hot shower, like whatever
Yeah.
those strategies are that I probably didn't have when I was younger.
Yeah, that's good mental growth as we learn to set boundaries and do self-care, and that helps us work through that stress. My sister-in-law is a mom to 5 kids, and she homeschools them, and she has that stress is a choice quote taped on her refrigerator. She's like, I need this every single day. When I'm pulling my hair out, like, why are these children all here? Why won't they do their homework? The house is a disaster. I remember stress is a choice. And then she'll talk about, I chose to have 5 kids. I chose to homeschool. I choose all of this. So why would I stand here and be a fall about it? I love when I hear people, especially, of course, when people in your personal life take what you teach out in the real world and
Yeah.
actually like listen to you. It's fun. So it was cool to walk in and see that on her refrigerator one day. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a good reminder, and so often a fresh teaching topic for so many people because they do say, wait, what? No, it's not.
Yeah.
Stress happens to me. But
Yeah.
you can really flip that on its head and say, stress is more of the response to what's happening.
Yeah. I can think of a couple of QBQ related magnets that I should probably put on my refrigerator.
Yeah, like which ones?
Probably a couple of them.
Let's
I mean,
brainstorm.
of course, I can only change me.
Yeah,
I think, oh, fly the plane differently.
that'd be a good one
Probably.
too.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, humility is a cornerstone of leadership.
Oh,
I
yes.
always appreciate that one.
Repetition is the motor of learning.
Yes, we could just have it multiple times on the
Yeah.
magnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's one of the things that we did when we brought the training program. So all participants get the participant guide,
Mhm.
and they fill that out as we're going through the program. They get a copy of QBQ and flipping the switch. But we also sent them back with a homemade placard that they could put on their desk.
It's
They could
awesome.
put on their desk, and it's the rules of the QBQ. They start with what or how, not
Yeah,
why, who, and each of those 3 rules contains an I, focus on action.
you got
And
him.
I was in one of our director's offices last week, and it was in the corner of her office. Our CEO has it in his office still.
Oh, that's so great. I
5
love
years
that.
later. Yep.
Good reminders.
It's great to have that callback, and it's great that it's a 3-step thing.
So
Bam,
simple.
bam, bam. It's simple. Yes.
I do love the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
It's easy to remember. Oftentimes in training sessions, I have people on a break practicing the questions already because it is just so easy
Yeah.
to implement, to understand, to remember. It's definitely not, my dad always says, it's not rocket science. There's there's great depth to it. The more you work with QBQ, the more you realize, wow, there's a lot of layers to peel back here. But the
Mhm.
initial concept is just so simple. It's like, oh, but then it's also life changing, which is really
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, just because you're in the HR world, we often get asked, how do you track metrics? How do you quantify the results of the QBQ training program? And we always just kind of have to tell people you feel it. It's not something we can quantify. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I'm a numbers guy, analytics guy, and I wish that we measured a lot more than we even do today. In HR, there's so much to analyze and so much to put numbers around. Learning and development is definitely one of them. As far as how we measure QBQ, it's how we put people through the program. Have our leaders been through it? Yes or no? It sounds simplistic, but just making sure everybody gets that experience and that opportunity is really important. And so that is a good fundamental measurement. But as far as how we measure the impact, I think you're spot on with this. It's a feeling,
Mm.
it's the shift in energy and mindset that you just see and feel in the organization. I'm sure there are probably way smarter people that could analyze that way better than me.
Maybe.
To me, that's what's most important.
That's what I always think too. That's what we hear from people who truly take it and implement it and don't just like, stand back and critically question it. When you actually do it, you feel it. And there's just no better way to explain it. And the people who
Mm-hmm.
don't get on board with it end up leaving because they don't fit in the environment anymore. And there's a lot of
Right.
chafing and tension going on there if you're not adopting that accountable mindset.
In my mind, like, who wouldn't want to embrace that mindset though?
I
Like,
know.
it's so fundamental. It's just it, and it works. It works. So who
Yeah,
wouldn't want to embrace that mindset? And I think by and large, when people go through that program here at Liberty, they leave feeling connected and energized.
that's so great. Recently, I was in contact with a client that I'd run a training for a number of years ago. And I'd done a kind of intimate leadership team type facilitated half day workshop with like 15 people.
Mhm.
And there was a lady in that session who she wasn't rude, but she just had that air of pushing back against the content, like just questioning it. My client had told me that she struggles with a negative attitude and they'd been working on trying to eradicate that from their culture. When I got in touch with him just recently, he happened to mention that she had chosen to move on because
Uh,
especially after the QBQ training, everyone's talking about, no, we're not going to victim think. We're not going to complain. We're not going to blame. We're not going to wallow in that anymore. We're
yeah.
shifting the culture. And it just started to chafe
Mhm.
and bump up against that too much. And she had chosen to move on. So I find that interesting that some people just can't seem to break out of their deeply ingrained habits.
I think the more you adopt that mindset, the more averse you are to the victim minded thinking,
Mm.
and you can move out of that quicker. One sort of dynamic, I guess, that exists sometimes, and admittedly, I fall into the trap. So I have to reread the book sometimes, right?
Yes.
Uh, is that mindset of, oh, I'm just venting. Just let me vent for a minute.
Right.
And I think there's some, I couldn't quote it, but I think there's some good research around how venting doesn't actually help. People think it helps. Let me just get
Mm.
it out and then it'll feel better. And that's not actually the
Interesting.
case.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, it's not adding to productive conversation.
And it's contagious to other people. So they
Yes.
may not have had those frustrations, but now they've
Hmm.
listened to your venting and they're taking that on and it's
Yeah.
tainting their view of it. And it is a
Yeah.
very dangerous thing.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
easy to pass on to other people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your biggest takeaway from the QBQ?
It's hard to pick one thing. I really feel like it changed the way I lead.
Hmm.
Learning the QBQ and reading that helped me stop trying to change other people, helped me shift out of blame and victim thinking and into problem solving mode and being an effective part of our organization, an effective human in society, hopefully, mostly, an effective leader. It's not an exaggeration to say it was life changing. Every piece of that is timeless, it's simple, and it's easy to absorb. Even if you don't achieve it 100% of the time, which if we ever meet somebody that achieves it 100% of the time, I want to meet that person.
Me too.
I don't think that's possible, but it's always just so easy to go back to, and you'll start catching yourself more and more. I get an energy burst when I have that light bulb moment, and I love to see that light bulb moment in other people too, when they recognize that, oh, okay, I'm victim thinking. Okay, what can I do? How can I do it differently?
Yeah.
Those are the most impactful moments, the most impactful reasons that I feel connected to the QBQ.
Yeah. Well, you've done a fabulous job with it. You found it, you took it to heart, and you've implemented it in your organization. I commend you for that. That's really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That means
Well,
a lot coming from you.
oh, well, yeah. We try our best, and it's honoring to us to see someone so impacted by the message. Something my dad has dedicated his life to, and then I've joined him now for 18 years. So it helps us keep on doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We appreciate every single one of you out there who love QBQ. Well, thank you, Thomas, for joining me here today on the QBQ podcast. This has been a lot of fun, and I appreciate your expertise and your experience with the QBQ.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.